Hi, it's Brice with UT Kilts, and in this video we're going to show you how to properly copy and make a UT kilt. Now, there have been a lot of copies of the products that we have come out with over the years, and pretty much all of them have not had the quality that we have in our kilts. So we're going to show in this video what goes in specifically into each kilt that makes it so much better than everyone else, and what makes it so difficult to copy and replicate. So let's take a look. Okay, let's take a look first at the type of fabric that should be used in a kilt. Here we have the standard utility kilt, which sells for $50. So it's our basic kilt. And in a moment we're going to compare it with another kilt that was quite a bit more. Now, it's hard to see on camera the differences in fabric, but a good way to tell is when you hold this up to light, the light won't come through, whereas in just a moment you'll see a kilt that when you do that, the light actually does shine straight through the fabric. So it's a very thin fabric. Our fabric is super durable, super tough, will hold up to just about anything, and you just can't get that in just any place. So here's the kilt of a competitor. As I mentioned before, this kilt never actually shows up to the person that's selling it. It just goes to a fulfillment center, so they would have no idea what this kilt is like or what the fabric is like. And I wish you could see the difference in fabric here and how much lighter this particular kilt is compared to the standard utility kilt. And like I mentioned, this is one of their better kilts that they have. So fabric is going to be one of the big differences between our kilt and someone else's. And if you're gonna make a copy, use the right fabric, because using this stuff, I can hold it up to the light, I can see straight through it. This will be worn out less than a year. The second thing we're going to look at is the hardware on the kilt. Now, on the standard utility kilt, we have snaps and belts and the buckles. Now, ours are using the highest quality hardware you can find. That's why we warranty it for the lifetime of the kilt. We'll send out replacement snaps for no matter how old the kilt is. In fact, several months ago, I sent one out for a kilt that was over 5 years old. That was the first issue the customer had with, it was one of the snaps on one of these. And you can see, you can really undo these quickly, snap them, undo them, snap them, undo them, and these are not going to break. It's going to take a lot of wear and tear on this. If we turn it around and we look at the buckle straps and we look at the buckles, again, solid pieces of hardware. And if you look at the sewing again that goes into keeping these on, it's underneath here, these are not going to come off. And this is how you make sure that you make, if your kilt has these buckle straps, that they don't come undone with just the slightest amount of pressure. Now, looking at this particular kilt of the competitor, it's designed slightly differently, which has a few issues in and of itself, but it has these metal clips here that clip on the D-rings. This allows them to avoid doing any sewing to the pocket and actually keeping it on here. So what this means is, in order for this to work, the kilt has to have solid hardware. And unfortunately, this particular one does not. If you go to it, that's what you get, is I can easily just pull it apart. And that was just basic, and I can do it on this one too. There is your competitor's kilt and what happens when you use inferior hardware. And this particular one, of course, is not even warranted. I want you to take a look at this piece. This was the piece that came off. How much I bent that with just one pull of the hand. How quickly do you snag stuff on your pockets where your pocket would fall right off with just one little snag? That's why at UT Kilts, we use the highest quality hardware and we warranty it for life, so that if you needed a new replacement, you could get one easily. Okay, let's take a look at the last part of how to copy a UT Kilts. This will be on the sewing. Now we're going to focus in on the pleats on the back of the kilt. You can see the two cargo pockets here. The middle of the back of the kilt is right here. That's where the pleats come together. Now, the sewing obviously is important in all different parts of the kilt, but we're going to look at this particular part as this is one of the big areas where kilts fail that have tried to copy what we do. This specifically up here, right here where the sewing down kind of stops and it just has the sewing of the pleat like this. This is where your hips are, and that's where the greatest amount of pressure in wearing the kilt when you're walking or moving is going to be. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this kilt up and I'm going to show you what we've done to make sure nothing happens. And I'm going to lift this up so you can see. It's a little difficult to see, but what we've done is here, and you can also see it here, is right where these stop is we've double and in some cases triple sewn this spot, because this is where it tends to fail. And what this does is it gives us an extra strength so that when pressure does get put on this particular area, which is pretty much all the time when you're wearing it, when you're bending over, when you're doing anything but basically standing, it will put pressure on this particular area of the kilt. We've made that more durable so that it's going to hold up to whatever you're going to do. And you can tell, if we set this down, when we pull on these, they won't come undone and they won't fail. Now let's take a look at the other one. Okay, this is the competitor's kilt. You can see on the actual pocket, this came off. It really wasn't on there very well. So this whole pocket has been ruined, what we did last time. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this particular kilt, and you can see when I hold it up to you, when you look here, this is just one straight shot, straight on down, this entire pleat. Now let me show you what happens when it gets a little bit of pressure to it. So I'm going to go ahead and continue down this kilt. We got to here with the pleats, and again, this is going to show you exactly what happens. I'm going to set the mic right here by it, and each time I pull, we stop there, pull, 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 and then we're on to the other side. And as you can see, I can keep going down the entire kilt, and I've ruined basically every pleat in this kilt in about 15 seconds. So that's how you make a UT kilt. As you can see, a lot of processes and a lot of thought goes into making these kilts as durable and as tough as they are. And as you also saw, the others don't spend that time to make sure it has the quality that it needs to hold up. So if you have any questions about any of our kilts, go ahead, contact us. Give us a call, send us an email, or use the online chat, and we'd be happy to answer any of your questions.